Hi, this is Derek with Knives Ship Free. Let's talk knife safety for kids. When we give knives to our kids, as parents, it's our responsibility to help them learn how to use their knives safely. Now, I know that you're going to have a lot more rules than 4, but I have 4 rules for you to use that'll kind of help you get started. They're your kids, they're your rules. You know your kids better than anybody else does, so you know what kind of rules your kids need. But here's where I start. First rule, no throwing, stabbing, drilling, general silliness. You and I know kids, and kids are going to be kids. But it's worth making the point to them, whenever you have a potentially dangerous object, you handle it with care. Throwing means if you throw a knife, you are out of control of that knife. It can bounce and it can hurt somebody. It can hit something hard and break. Not good. Stabbing, drilling, those are really dangerous because the forces that are required to stab or drill are not controlled in the right direction. And those actions depend on the lock working perfectly to be safe. And that leads to the next rule. Now, rule number 2, always use a folding knife like it doesn't have a lock. You want a lock, but understand all locks will fail. Locks are good for when you're using your knife and you have a little momentary lapse in judgment, but locks fail. All of them can fail, and at some point, all of them do. So make sure that you keep all of the forces using a folding knife, that the forces are opening the knife, not closing the knife. When you stab, when you drill, or whatever you do, those forces are not clear, and they will mess you up at some point. I've been a knife guy for a long time, and I have to remind myself of this one regularly, and I get reminded whenever I have one of my slip joints, and I drill or push into something, and I'm not paying attention, and it closes against your fingers, and when it does, it can get ugly quickly. Rule number 3, always cut away from yourself. This is one of those things that, as experienced knife people, we violate that one all the time. We've used our knives enough to know how they behave when you cut towards yourself, or how to be safe in a variety of ways that kids don't understand. So for kids, it's a good rule to say, always cut away from yourself. Rule number 4, maintain your knife. Now this is one of those, first off, this is one of those responsibility kind of rules, that you give a kid just to make sure that they understand the gravity of the situation. But it's also a safety rule. One of the things that I want to see in my kids, anytime I expose them to something new, is I want to see them employ basic responsibility. I want to see them keep track of the knife. I want to see them clean it when it needs it. I want to see them oil it from time to time. And I want them to know how to keep their knife sharp. And this is where this rule is also safety, because sharp knives are safer than dull knives. Dull knives, it takes more force to cut, and a lot of times dull knives slip. And when you combine that slipping with more force, if they hit something they're not supposed to, you are bound to cause a serious injury. And the 5th rule. I know, I said there would be only 4, but I thought of one more, and it's my video, so I get to do what I want. It's the last rule. It's the most important rule. Use your knife. Carry your knife. Use your knife. Love your knife. A knife is one of the handiest things that you'll ever own. And once your kids learn to carry a knife, they'll feel naked without it. So help your kids own knives and help them use them safely.